This is the analysis of a soccer pass, broken down into the approach phase, planting phase, cocking phase, follow through or ball contact phase, and return to start position. During the approach phase, the player is standing in neutral position with their hands by their sides. The neck is in neutral and the eyes are looking ahead to the player who will be receiving the pass. The second phase is the planting phase. The player is planting their left foot in the direction they want the ball to go. Their right foot is turned to use the inside of the right foot for the pass. The neck is slightly flexed, looking down at the ball and analyzing the angle that needs to be cut in order to send the ball where they want it to go. The right shoulder is back and flexed in horizontal adduction, which creates scapular retraction. The prime mover for scapular retraction is the middle trapezius, but all three muscles of the trapezius work as synergists to retract the scapula. The left shoulder is in horizontal abduction and is forward in scapular protraction, with the rhomboids major and minor concentrically lengthening. While the rhomboids are concentrically lengthening, the pectoralis is eccentrically lengthening to pull the scapula forward. Both right and left elbows are extended in this phase as they sit in the humero-ulnar joint. The triceps brachii is the prime move for elbow extension, and the anconeus assists in extension. The motions of both shoulders and the elbows are acting as counterbalances during the kick. The right and left wrists remain in neutral, and the hands remain loosely adducted. The trunk is being stabilized by a transverse abdominis that holds the core like a corset. Other muscles that are aiding in keeping the trunk stable are the erector spinae and spinal postural muscles. The left hip remains in neutral because of the foot is planted as mentioned above. The right hip laterally rotates in the acetabulofemoral joint, and the gluteus maximus and 6 deep rotator muscles are the prime movers. The left and right knees are extended for the cocking phase. The prime movers for the knee extensions are the rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedialis, and vastus medialis. The kick is done with the inside of the right foot. The eversion of the ankle is done at the subtalar joint, and the eccentric muscles involved are the peroneus longus, peroneus brevis, and the peroneus tertius. The left foot is planted at neutral. The right foot is also slightly dorsiflexed, which is the concentric contraction of the tibialis anterior. Third is the cocking phase. This is the motion where the player is rearing back to create the force needed to kick the soccer ball. It is created by the extension and abduction at the acetabulofemoral joint, flexion at the tibiofemoral joint, and dorsiflexion at the talocrural joint. The gluteus maximus and medius are working concentrically to extend the hip, while the gluteus medius and gluteus minimus also concentrically abduct the hip. To flex the knee, a long head of the biceps femoris concentrically contracts along the semitendinosus and semimembranosus. The right foot stays dorsiflexed with the tibialis anterior contracted. The right elbow follows the right leg in this phase and extends back further parallel with the foot. The final phase is the ball contact phase, or the follow-through phase. The right leg is swinging to make contact with the ball. The main motion that our attention is drawn to is the flexion of the right hip. The gluteus maximus, semitendinosus, semimembranosus, and the long head of the biceps femoris eccentrically lengthen to allow this motion, while the rectus femoris, iliopsoas, and the pectineus concentrically contract to pull the hip into flexion. The left hip remains the same. The extension of the right knee is created by the concentric contraction of the quadriceps, rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, and vastus medialis. The hamstring muscles eccentrically lengthen to bring the knee into extension. The left knee will also slightly extend to support the weight of the right leg as it kicks the ball. As the extension reaches its maximum in the right leg, the left foot will minutely plantar flex because of the power dispersal from the kick. The muscles that plantar flex the foot are the gastrocnemius, soleus, and plantaris. Lastly, is return to the start position. After the follow-through, the player will return back to the starting position with their hands by their sides. The right hip will be laterally rotated, and the right foot will still be in inversion to receive the pass back.